Thank you, Dipanjan. And what I thought was I will quickly run through some of the innovative practices we have had in the hospital. And I'm sure when it can ask him to sit down. Sandeep.
Can you please take
Sandeep. I thought I will quickly run through some of the interesting innovations that have happened in the last, say, 2-3 years. It may range from maybe the clinical solutions to energy management to mobile applications. Generally, I am a little notorious for talking longer, and I think you cautioned me that. But maybe you have to put up here, you will find something interesting. What has happened in the last, this is the hospital from which I am coming. We are a 350-bed hospital and we are now expanding. And I'm always impressed by the technologies that have happened in the last, maybe in the 500-600 years. I'm just wondering what kind of ICT they had when they built all this. And one thing which really struck me in the Jaipur Palace when I went was this slide. I took a photograph, and you know what it conveys, what kind of communication they have had. If you see, it's almost about maybe about 20 kilometers area, and you see the towers there. They have had the communication, and they have about 17 such towers. They have been able to communicate. They had no webcam, they had no internet at that time, but still they were able to keep the invaders away. And we talk about after harvesting and energy conservation, they had a beautiful thing there itself. And I think everything started with this IC engines, and the industrial revolution came up. Then I think the whole of healthcare industry went into a big revolution after the X-rays were found, and when Albert Einstein propounded his theory of relativity. And of course, from there taking off to our hospitals, and I think today we have hospitals which are very, very sophisticated. But again, I just take 2 minutes to run through as a customary protocol to trace what has happened in the healthcare industry in the last, say, 50 or 60 years. Maybe you will see this is a very nice building in Coimbatore. It's a Coimbatore Medical College Hospital. This handles about 6,000 patients a day, 2,000 inpatients a day. No comparable to our hospital where we just handle about 1,000 patients a day. And you see the crowd we are talking about. They are just waiting for registration, and just paneling and part of a panel of speakers just now before I came to this presentation, they were talking about UID. I was asked to talk about what will be the implication of UID project in healthcare. I told them that this could be very, very helpful in large hospitals like this, and how we could settle all the insurance claims and MLC cases and whatever. So maybe after that, at the time of independence, you had all the general hospitals. Then came the Christian Medical College institutions in Ludhiana and CMC Vellore, and they started really getting up technology. And I think they were the first few people to get a CT scan along with Apollo Hospital in 1983, and then came the real revolution. And you see, these are all the first generation hospitals, I would say, because I worked both in Apollo Hospital and in Power Medical Center. I would say we are the second generation hospital. First generation hospital in terms of technology was that time. And the second generation in 1990 was the second generation. And I would say these are all the third generation hospitals that have come up. But why I am taking all this is to understand how the technology has gone and what level the ICT has taken roots in these hospitals. And government hospitals are not left out. I just went to this hospital and I saw all the 3 cardiac theaters working full-fledged, and they had some of the best IT applications. And you see, this is the Apollo Ludhiana Hospital in Ludhiana, and this is Optimus Hospital. And I think I'm really impressed by the way we are going. And this, of course, one hospital in Cochin, and this the hospital in Ganga Hospital, which has come up very recently in Coimbatore. And now we are talking about large hospitals, and hospitals become large. I think the ICG becomes very, very important. And given some hospitals in Madurai, and this is the hospital in Saad in Saudi Arabia, and you see the kind of hospital you are talking about. Maybe in course of time you will find such hospitals. So we are all getting geared up to this kind of hospital setting. Of course, these things you have seen, and all these things together bring us into ICT. You have a large hospital building, you have services, and you have technology. And in those days, the technology was out, and the people and processes were together. Today, we are talking about the technology moving in, and people and processes going out. And ultimately, we will work on this concept. We will talk about an enterprise solution where you have the SCM and ERP and CRM working together, and you will see all these technologies working together. Most of it, all of us are using it now. We call it internet, intranet, biometrics, PRI, barcode, GPS, pneumatics, RFIDs, and podcasting. How many of you use podcasting at your hospital? Anybody use podcasting? So I learned a lot from podcasting. In fact, there were 2 excellent podcasting sections in podcasting in the recent past about medical tourism. What is happening around the world? They say that Poland is one of the best centers for medical tourism. Okay, so you will find hospitals like us use this website for either communicating with the patient or communicating with the vendor, or even the employees wanting leave can go into the website and they can mark their leave and get the leave sanctioned. Okay, so it would be rather unfair if I don't talk about electronic medical records, because to me as a hospital administrator, having worked for about 25 years in large hospitals, electronic medical record is not all about hospital life. Let me be very clear about it. I am a great proponent of IT in hospitals, and I have great respect for electronic medical records. In fact, we are trying to implement electronic medical records, but I don't know, as somebody was saying, the doctors still have some problem in implementing electronic medical records. And maybe I will say a few, show you a few slides about electronic medical records, and then go on to other innovative areas. You see, this is the typical the record. We have the everything, whether it is notes or orders, everything happens through the net, through the computer. It's a web-based solution, and the nurses are very, very comfortable. We generate almost about 2,000 to 3,000 requisitions each day using all this, and you see history or physical or anything they can enter into this, and all these values are seen by the nurses, seen by the doctors only in the computer. Nobody phones up or nobody gives it to the hand, anyway, like most of the hospitals are doing. And this is, I think, this is the way, the different ways we present the reports. Okay, so I'm sure all of us are doing this, and this is a wonderful way of presenting the laboratory report to the doctors. Of course, this is again about the medication. And what, in fact, I heard Singh talking about laboratory automation. I also believe that if you have a pneumatic pipeline system, it will make a lot of difference. In fact, we are trying to implement a pneumatic pipeline system. We are trying to implement about almost 43 stations, pneumatic pipeline stations in the hospital, both for the old building and in the new building. I think we must look at innovation and automation in the laboratory system. I told you we generate almost about 1,617 requests. If you're talking about pharmacy requests, you're talking about radiology requests, lab requests, discharges, all these happen in the computer system, the peak time and the lean time. When you're talking about these pharmacy requests, each request has about 4 or 5 medicines. When you're talking about radiology, again, it can have multiple requests, tests, and laboratory, again, it will be about 4 to 5. So we are talking about 3,000 to 4,000 transactions happening online at any point of time. And I made a study, sir, maybe it might be of interest to you. What I did was, I did a study about the usefulness of the pneumatic pipeline system in the hospital. What is the number, how many lab samples you can transport through the pneumatic system? How many pharmacy requests you can transport? You know, in our hospital, we also deliver the medicines to the patient bedside. The patient don't come to the pharmacy, now the relatives come to the pharmacy. We deliver the medicines to the bedside. So how many visits the ward boys are making to the pharmacy, and how many visits the ward boys are making to the laboratory? You see that this is the kind of study we have done. Already we have about 6 ward boys in the pharmacy who do this, 60 trips, and other people make about 148 trips. So 208 trips are being made each day to the pharmacy, and in the laboratory 161 visits are made. So you will find in another, say, 2 months' time, all these visits will go. So we will be saving about 25 ward boys and ward girls, and as you said, there will be practically no time lag between the time the results are, the lab samples are taken and delivered to the lab, or the lab results are communicated to the ward station through the computer. So this is how we were transporting all the medicine. You know, I just took a picture of the fellow when he was coming back. It looks like a tower, you know. And these boys keep going and coming, and that is how it will work. And this is the laboratory automation we are talking about. Everything is RFID tagged, and as you enter the requisition, the barcodes are generated, and once you feed it into the laboratory equipment, the HIS tells them which test to do, and tests are done, and the tests are communicated to the ward station. Now, what we have gone further, if you are talking about what is the innovation we have done, we have put this onto the touch screen. We have put this onto the touch screen, and everybody can have a look at it. Then further innovation, if you are saying, is the innovation which we have done, giving it to the mobile. So as soon as the OP patient comes into the hospital, the blood test is done, and as soon as the blood test is done and test is authorized by the equipment and the technician, automatically the results will go to the mobile, whether he is in Erode or Perundurai or Trichur, it will definitely automatically go to him. But we make it a point to ask the patient whether he wants the results to be communicated to him through the cell phone, or he can ask for the results through the cell phone, like we ask for the PNR number. So we just say the PNR number and the result comes in, or we can simply communicate directly from the equipment. And this is the equipment we are planning, and you will see everything is completely computerized, and it is just like your intercom. It is so easy. I have seen in many hospitals, and particularly, and this you see this is completely automated. When you are talking about 43 stations, you are talking about 80 transports happening all over the hospital, and we don't know where the canister is, and we want to find out where a particular lab sample has gone. I can always track it through this computer and tell the technician if it is stuck to go and see it. Okay, this is what is happening in CMC Vellore. They are the pioneers in it. They have already installed almost about 70 stations like this, and they are transporting about 6,000 samples every day, and it's a great example in a large Battery Trust hospital. This is the Central Service Department. Again, Gyani was talking about NABH accreditation. You see, this was the CSSD we had before. Then we changed it to this, and this is a completely automated system, fully ICT enabled. As the sterilization sets are loaded onto the sterilization, we know who has loaded it. We know how many sets are there. What is the temperature cycle, what is the pressure cycle, all the details come into a data logger. So I can give you all the details, and in fact we have provided space. You will see for another machine which is coming up in by about another 2 weeks, we will have two such machines, and this will be the state-of-the-art machine that will be there. In fact, we have been able to save about 17,600 rupees as electricity charges because they are much more energy efficient. The supply chain management, again, this is one thing that we have already done. I don't know how many of you have done it in your hospitals. This idea we got from Germany when we went. This is a hospital chain which has a pharmacy in the central place, and this is where the pharmacy medicines are all stored. About 5 hospitals are serviced by this pharmacy, and everything is RFID and Farm Pilot enabled here. You see this pharmacy manager tells them how they get orders from the patients, nursing stations, into this pharmacy 70 kilometers away, and then the robot packs them, robotic system packs them, and then it is dropped into this box, and there is a taxi service like my ward boy carrying it. The taxi service picks it up and hands it over, and the delivery happens within about 1 or 2 hours. So that would happen much faster than if your pharmacy was there, if your boy was going, and he said the only bottleneck I have is the traffic. Maybe 70 kilometers I just cover in 1 hour, no problem about it. So somebody was talking about the dashboard. So this is again a very, very interesting piece of IT facility which I have today, thanks to our IT software guys. This dashboard, in reality, I am using. So I will show you some of the screenshots about that. What we have done is we have identified the KPIs, the key performance indicators for each of us. The chief executive has a set of KPIs, and my chairman has a set of KPIs. Maybe my financial controller has set, GMHR has one. And this helps me to find out in real time what is happening, and I am able to see what has happened in the last 7 to 14 days. Save on the manager level. I don't have to scroll through all the modules and find out, and it definitely helps me in additional services. And I think you will really appreciate this. You see here, this tells me the details for the day. How many master checkups came, what was the OP admission, review admission, and discharges, total discharges, VIPs and employees admitted in the hospital, coronary angiograms done, how many phone calls were made, how many phone calls, because I want to monitor the telephone system also. So how many surgeries were done, major or minor, total samples in the OP and IP, then we have the laboratory, what are the lab tests pending, all that for the day will come in the scroll. But I'm interested in a few things, what was the trend, and this is real time, you must understand, it keeps changing, the curve keeps changing. So all the patient admissions, master health checkup packages performed, MSCs that were done, how many angiograms were done, what were the new patients, review patients, how many deliveries happened in the last 1 week, they are all live, and the major and minor surgeries performed, what is the hospital occupancy, discharges, inpatient admission and discharges, VIP admission and discharges. And I've also asked them to do what was the energy consumed in the hospital in the last 1 week. What was the power factor that was maintained? If you maintain a power factor of about say 0.99, I get a rebate of over 50,000 rupees from the government. So because we spend about almost 25 lakhs of rupees per month on electricity alone. So that dashboard will be for the maintenance engineer, the chief of facilities engineer. So very interesting. This is the latest. I'm sure most of you would have gone through it. I don't know how many of you have started using it. This is the IT in ICU management. What do you know about IT workstation? What is charting solution? What is central monitoring, remote monitoring? I think most of us know about central monitoring, most of us know about remote monitoring. Maybe central monitoring is monitoring about 6 patients in the central monitoring system. And maybe remote monitoring is my cardiologist sitting in his house and monitoring the ECG. But what is this workstation? This is a very interesting concept where there is a workstation near each of the ICU bed, and I can call up the alliance, I can call up the PACS, I can call up HIS, I can call up the ventilator data, I can call up the monitor data, and outstanding. And I think, and we can also do charting. Another interesting part of that workstation is using that additional software, we can do charting. That means all the infusions that are given automatically get charted. Maybe only thing which we cannot do is the urine output. When the urine output is there, they have to key it in. There is a provision in the program that the urine output alone is keyed in. So whether it is pressure or temperature or heart rate, everything gets charted, and that's called the charting solution which we are trying to use, and I understand not many people in the country are using it now. And another interesting part of this IT solution in ICU is the administrative facilities that has been provided by this workstation, is that it helps us to provide, it helps us to interface all the equipments from the first place. And second is the equipment utilization. Particularly when I have about 25 ventilators in my ICU, and I want to find out which ventilator performs better, which ventilator needs to be condemned, which ventilator has to be more efficient, and I need to condemn it a little later. All that detail is available. And most of it all, that is about managing the ventilators, but billing part of the ventilator. So you know that we spend a lot of money on ventilator. We want to bill for the patients. When we bill for the patient, now what we do is we depend on the nurses. So how many hours they have put the patient on the ventilator. And of course, I have no doubts about my nurses. Nurses are very sincere. But even if they lose about 2 or 3 hours in a ventilator, you can understand what will be the loss to the hospital. So if this can be automatically tied up or interfaced with the billing system, nothing like that, I understand those things are also possible, and this is the kind of ICU you are talking about. This is the cardiothoracic ICU, and this is what they are talking. They are saying about the. This is the remote. This is the central monitor anyway. This is the remote monitor, and this is the workstation. And this workstation talks to all these ventilators and the monitors. And this is one supplier, and again you see the packs is brought in, and you see the monitor data. All the data is available in this. Sorry. These are all the charging solutions they are talking about. We had a demonstration of it here, and this is a server, which talks to all the devices, talks to our LIS system, HIS system, packs, and all that. Of course, you are able to see all these intensive cares and intensive cares and ICUs are able to communicate, and these are all the components that are really charted. These are all the, whether it is input-output fluids, caloric calcification, everything is charted through this. Patient information is displaying on a current chart. You don't have to write. Now, if you have seen in most of the ICUs, there are huge charts which are being filled up, and we don't have to fill up all this, and it gets into the electronic medical record, and doctor is also able to see. So these are all the so many charts that are available into this. Sorry. This is the air conditioning and refrigeration. Again, is a very interesting area. We are talking about the BMS solutions, and these BMS solutions can be very useful, but they are a little expensive though. What we have now done is we have even connected the solar heating system. You may be wondering why we are connecting the solar heating system. We have about 14 solar heaters in the hospital. Each is about 2,000 liters, and these solar heating, not only the solar heating systems, but maybe high power consuming areas, like you will see. We would have connected a cool light, energy saver, and someone is not coming here. I will show you a little later. We have also connected all the load centers into it, whether it is CSSD or whether it is effluent treatment plant or a cool light or a transformer, solar heating system. All we are connected to a network, and all these parameters are available in my laptop in the hospital. We even have connected the digital water flow meter into our network to ensure whether the water is being received, to find out how much is the flow of water, to ensure 24 hours monitoring. And this is how the water is monitored into the hospital. You will see how much of water has been received, at what flow rate it is coming. You will see, well, if you want to find out how much was received, we can find out through this, and this is the data we get. You must understand, we spend about 4 to 5 lakhs per month on water alone, and water is such a critical resource, and we will be able to know how much water has been consumed in 24 hours through the digital system. This is again a very interesting area. This is the SMS system I was telling you previously. People used to come and check for the maybe outstanding or whatever. Now they are able to see through the touch screen today, and they can see what are the things that they can, through the SMS, they can get inpatient bill outstanding, they can order extra diet orders, provide laboratory reports, providing hospital tariff, and local call taxi numbers can also be provided through this. We just made some analysis of how many people use cell phones in the rooms. You find almost about 280 patients' rooms, they have cell phones, and 147 use SMS. And I think that's a very interesting statistics if you have to really provide this facility. And these are all the diet orders which are made. If you come to a hospital, if there are 300 attenders, 300 attenders make some diet orders, maybe extra coffee or tea or coconut water, whatever other things. And these are ordered through either by the nurses or by the patient themselves or by the attenders through the phone call. You will see the request from the department. Staff made 258, attenders made 101, and dietitians made about 94. Through phone, through the request through the pantry, we got these orders, and totally we made almost about 600 extra diet orders, which were made either through phone or through personal requests and all that. But what we are now trying to do is make an SMS diet order system. We have now codified all these into different tea and maybe coffee 1 and tea as 2 or whatever. we can have these diet orders through the cell phone. You just have to say 302, 2 and 2, and that's it. We have mapped our cell phones to the room numbers, and once they say 307 and say 2, that means tea or coffee or sugarless or whatever, and you will see all this appearing in your. We will also acknowledge that order, and then after about 15 minutes, once they start preparing the coffee, you say the coffee is getting ready, and you will get it in 15 minutes time. So this is the extra diet order acknowledgement. You see, you can see it here, and thanks for your order. And you can see the outstanding, patient outstanding. Here, what all they have to do is just type in IP bill outstanding 206, and they will get the outstanding bill amount there. So they don't have to go to the touch screen, they don't have to go to the inquiry counter. So similarly, the lab reports, you will see they just have to type in the lab number, and they will get whether the lab results are ready, whether it is completed. Are you able to see? I don't know. Yeah, whether the lab results are ready, whether they are pending, and what is the lab result, creatinine, what is the number, what is the blood glucose, what is the value. All that they will be able to get without even. Similarly, we can even check up the extra master checkup. You just have to say MSc and type, you will get all the. So maybe last few slides I thought I'll show you. These are all, these are all some of the studies we have done as far as the energy consumption, how IT has been used for monitoring IT, and these are all the studies which we have done for different hospitals. And I told you this is the exact matrix which we have developed. The eSpin project, lighting load, AHU, reciprocating compressors, screw type compressors, CSSD for voltage, amperage, kilowatt, all these parameters are monitored simultaneously, and even UPS are all monitored through the central networking system. So I know how much is overloaded, how much is underloaded, all that. So last but not the least, I thought I should explain to you the speech recognition system. And we use a speech recognition system in the hospital. Of course, we use, as everybody uses, the fingerprint recognition for biometrics, and this is a software which I use regularly, but I am not able to demonstrate because it is in another laptop. I am sure some of you will find it useful. SRMC is using it very well. Sri Ramchandra Medical College Hospital is using it for their laboratory system and for the PAC system. This is how you confirm and program it, and once you do it, we are able to listen to it and then also type it onto the system. Thank you, Panjan. I think we'll proceed to the panel discussion.
Maybe you can complete it. There are a few only.
Yeah. The last one which I thought was the podcasting. I'm sure this is a new area. Podcasting is a technology where you can download a lot of your lectures, teaching material. For example, University of Berkeley, they do a lot of podcasting on hospital administration. They do a lot of podcasting on IT in healthcare. So I download it and I'm able to see it. And this is the iPod which you must buy. And this is how I download all this and listen to it. You see this healthcare IT podcast. It's a beautiful piece of podcast that comes once in a week, and you can listen to it, and you need to download this iTunes, and then once you download this, you can also listen to some of these lectures. Some of the lectures from King's Hospital in UK. In fact, I delivered a lecture for some of the psychiatrists, and they have been able to download very good lectures and listen to it. So this, for example, this is how you download that lecture here. Of course, finally, I must dedicate this to my teacher. This is the Mary teacher, and where is the speaker? Can you make her? Yeah, here. Okay. Right. Thank you, Panjan. Maybe we will